Hey, welcome to our next episode of Ghost Gab. I am your host, Jennifer Lauer, and your other co-host is...
Dave Schumacher.
Hey,
How
Dave.
you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, doing well. We got Troy sitting over here. Mustard Troy, the mustard man. What's up?
Not much. Just waiting to do my review.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to that. You're going to be doing a review on White Noise, and yes, we know it's been out for a while, and it's probably going to be out on DVD relatively soon.
May
What's that?
17th.
May 17th. So Troy will give you some recommendations and his thoughts on the movie, and hopefully that'll guide you to purchase it or not, or rent it, or steal it from a friend and never return it so they get the late
Or
fee.
download it free and get busted by the...
Yeah, we wouldn't endorse that, but if you want to do that, I'd be glad to turn you over to the authorities to get the money to fund everything that we do. So what else is going to be going on? We're going to have the topic of the show, which would be EVP.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do that interview?
Yep, we'll be talking with Cindy Heinen of the Southern Wisconsin Paranormal Research Group. She is the electronic voice phenomenon specialist in quite wonderful, I have to say. She is one of the best at it that I've ever met. So
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to doing that.
Good. Look forward to that interview, and I know she is going to provide us with some samples from her either personal collection or from investigations that we've been on with her. So that should be a good segment, should be very interesting. And I think you recently were doing an investigation, and somehow you got some EVPs with...
Oh, yeah.
who was it now?
Okay, I got to tell you, the other night, well, it was probably about a weekend ago, last weekend, the group and I we were up in Plainfield, Wisconsin, right? You know where Plainfield is, right?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
doesn't everybody?
Yeah. Well, we were up there, and we were on the premises, on the land where Ed Gein used to live, where his house was. And we were doing this investigation, you know, trying out EVP, doing everything. We start listening to the EVP, and all of a sudden you start hearing these little voices. And we're like, whoa, what's this? So, yeah, so
You didn't bring any clothes home, did you?
clothes, well, maybe a nipple vest.
Yeah, he was an interesting character, so I wonder what he had to say to you guys.
Well, you know, I've got this excellent interview that back up a little bit. I was doing the EVP, and we started hearing more and more voices.
Okay.
So I started listening better and better, and pretty soon I could start asking questions, and he was answering me. And the first question, of course, I asked him was, "Who is this? What's your name?"
Yeah.
Guess what he told me? One guess.
Ed Gein?
You're right.
Wow.
So, you know, as we're doing this EVP session, I said, "Hey, Ed, you mind if I do an interview?" And he said, "No, go right ahead." And I have a copy of that for you to hear.
Well, good. I hope you came home with all your body parts in order to get that interview.
All that I wanted to have.
All that you wanted to. Okay, good. Then we're going to do a quick website review. I think we have one or two websites we're just going to bring your attention to. And this week is going to be the news section that we talked to you about last week called Rob's Rant.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's about 5 or 8 minutes of Rob basically just going off, venting. So if you have any little kids that listen to the show, this probably isn't going to be the one for them to listen to, because we do not beep out the good stuff like most other shows do, especially the ones on the radio.
Right.
So just a warning for you out there.
Exactly.
All right. Well, with that, we're glad to have you all back. And we just want to remind you that if you'd like to contact the group, you can reach us at www.paranormalresearchgroup.com. And you can submit email, questions, comments, topics, suggestions for the show. Pretty much anything. We're always looking for feedback. And if you're looking to maybe advertise on the show, somebody who'd like to get some advertising in there, we'd be more than willing to discuss that with you as well. So thanks for joining us again, and we'll be right back to start off the show with the interview with Cindy.
Let's go. Welcome back. The topic of our show this week is EVP, which is electronic voice phenomenon. And we brought to our studio tonight one of the foremost specialists for the SWPRG, Cindy Heinen. Now, Cindy has had over 5 years' experience documenting and recording EVP all over the world in many famous places such as Gettysburg. And she's also a member of the AAEVP, which is a group who specializes in studying electronic voice phenomenon. So I'd like to welcome Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me here.
Great. I would like to ask you a few questions tonight.
Sure.
Number one, I guess the biggest question everybody's thinking is, what is EVP?
Well, EVP to me is the recording of speech that has no physical origin. It's like voices from nowhere. And that would be the simplest way to put it. It is a form of instrumental transcommunication, or some people call it ITC, but this is the audio version of it. So this would be where we get voices via tape recorders or IC recorders, computers.
Okay.
But it's the audio end.
Oh, great. Okay. Now, how would you go about doing an EVP session? Any tips? First of all, I guess you could explain how you would do it, and then...
Yeah, on an investigation, if we were going into a haunted location, I would probably go in and set up one or two tape recorders, usually like a cassette or a digital note taker. I always use microphones, omnidirectional microphones for that. And then I've started to use a script that's been helpful. I've used that in other situations, but that way I can, when I go back to monitor what I've recorded, that's very helpful to me. Well, anyhow, so I'll read from the script. I'll wait 30 seconds in between questions, and then we'll just close it off. It'll be like maybe a 10 or 15-minute session, and that's it for the recording.
Okay. Now, what about afterwards? Then what about when you're all done recording? Then what happens?
Well, on location, I won't do much. Maybe I'll just scan it, but it'll really be the next day that I'll go back to the recording. And I'll usually run it through maybe at 3/4 volume and just take notes. Like if I hear something that might be a suspect, that I might suspect that it's an EVP, I'll just take a note on it and say, well, it came at that time. And then after I've done that, then I go back and then I start analyzing those bits, taking those bits out and figuring out if I really want to look at those or not. At that point, then I'll take them over to the computer to put them in an editing program.
Okay, I guess my next question then would be, what kind of software do you use to edit your program, or your EVP?
I use several. I use one that's called, it's a new one, AVS Audio, I think it is the one I put into my new computer. And then we'll transfer that. That's why I put the raw audio into. From that, I usually run most things. Lately, I've been running most things through a clear voice denoiser, the softest portion of that, to clean it up just a little bit to see if it's worthwhile to even keep investigating. Mm-hmm. After that point, then I'll go take it to a cool edit program where I'll mess around with the volume of it, maybe do some filtering. I'm not a heavy-handed editor when it comes to this because you can really distort things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, why do you think EVP is so controversial?
The two main reasons people come and talk about EVP being controversial is one that the phenomenon when you get audio fatigue, like you're listening to white noise and you're listening to it, and then pretty soon you're going to start hearing things within that noise. That is a true phenomenon. It does happen. I would address that, and it's very rare that I'm going to be sitting and listening to 15 minutes of white noise. I wouldn't do that to my hearing, number one, and that's why we do short recordings. And plus, there have been some studies where they have done given people white noise samples to listen to that are just straight white noise samples, and they have found that they're not finding voices in it. These are EVP people that are used to listening to EVPs, but they're not picking up anything out of these. The other thing that people talk about is that we're picking up radio signals or cell phone or something like that. I certainly think that can happen, but there's a world of difference between what an EVP sounds like and what a radio station sounds like. Okay. Radio stations are mostly music. EVPs will be starting at the beginning of a sentence and ending at the end of a sentence, where if we were picking up random radio signals, we would get something in the middle.
Okay, great. I know you have brought a couple of EVP samples with you tonight, so I'd like to play them, and let's get your opinions of them and when they're done, okay? I'm going to play them right now.
Okay.
Okay, Cindy. Now, what did you think of that one? That one was taken at an investigation at the Brumner Mansion in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Give me your thoughts on that one.
That was one that, if I remember correctly, it was between speech. Two people were speaking, and then this voice came in, and that's really common to happen, that these will just be interjected like that, and the whisper's real common. And it's also real common that we can understand the words really well at the beginning, but as it kind of fades out at the end. So I think that's a pretty classic whisper EVP.
Great. Okay, now I have another one I want you to listen to, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you want us to leave you alone? What do you want us to do?
Okay, now Cindy, what did you think of that one? That one was taken during an investigation at a home in Beloit, Wisconsin. What did you think of that one?
I like those kind because they're interacting with the investigation, and obviously we have a tone quality, we have an opinion, so
Great.
That shows that we're not working with radio interference, for example.
Right, yeah. Okay. Now, I guess my last question would be, what did you think of the movie White Noise? Now, I know we have Troy on. He is our foremost movie review person on our show, and he gave his opinion on this movie, but I'm just very curious on what you thought of it, and be honest.
It was fun to see the guy's office, the guy who did the EVPs. That kind of looked like my office. Before I moved, it was really messy like that and everything. We had lots of tapes around. But really, it went from EVPs and to ITC to things that people really aren't doing at this point in time. It was fantasy. It was kind of fun, but that's about it for me. Okay.
And the quote at the end, where it stated that, I don't know, how many EVPs were considered evil or something like that. I can't remember the exact quote. But what did you think of that?
That was pretty shocking when I saw that, because that certainly isn't my experience. I have quite an inventory of files, and I've never had anything that I would classify as evil. I've had cranky people. I've had really happy people. It's not my experience that that's the case.
Okay, that's nice to hear, because so many people are afraid of those things because of those facts that are stated like that.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be more accurate on those types of things for the general public, I think. Well, thank you so much, Cindy, for coming tonight.
You're welcome.
We had a great time. I'm hoping you will come back soon and talk some more about some of your other EVPs that you've captured and present them to us.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. Mustard Troy, and we're going to be reviewing the movie White Noise. Welcome, Troy.
Welcome yourself, Jen. I'm back.
He's back. Okay, let me ask you a couple questions about this movie. Number one, what was the movie about? Kind of give me a plot. Who was in it? Blah, blah, blah.
Well, the movie, it's basically about EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. That's what the story. That's what the idea is about.
Okay.
The story, on the other hand, is about, starring Michael Keaton, best known as Batman, and he plays a character named John Rivers, and John Rivers is a successful architect. He's got a kid, a wife that's pregnant. He's got a lot of money, apparently, big house. And all of a sudden, one day, it changes when his wife dies mysteriously, and it really fucks him up.
Okay.
And so he is screwed up for a couple months, and then he gets contacted by this man who says that he got a message from his wife from beyond the grave. And so he gets really involved in this, and he starts obsessing about it and spending every waking moment trying to record his voice, or his wife's voice, and trying to figure out where she is and what she's trying to say to him.
Okay. Well, the premise sounds interesting. But
Oh yeah, and that's why we went to see it. You know,
Right. Now, seeing the movie as you saw it, as a paranormal investigator, did you feel that it was an actual depiction of what we consider EVP to be?
very, very loosely. Like in the very beginning, they give a dictionary description of what EVP is, and just voices, recorded on blank tape, and being able to understand that there's something there. That's not what the movie really was about. It was about video ITC, video instrumental trans communication.
Okay.
Got that right.
Right. That was included in there, right?
Right, and that's what they did to the whole movie, using TV static and radio. What we usually do is use tape recorders, blank tape, so there's no interference, from an outside station or crossing over, whatever.
Okay. All right. Another one of my questions is seeing the movie. They have, of course, every movie needs evil guys or
Villains,
or
yes.
villains,
Well,
right?
They're not any exciting to go see.
And this movie had like 3 shadow people. Can you elaborate?
Shadow Men.
Yeah, elaborate on what that was all about.
Well, through the course of the movie, it is said that if you do EVP, you're gonna eventually contact an evil spirit that's gonna mess you up, and that's what he did. He slowly through the movie, you start seeing these images of these 3 dark, shadowy figures. You don't know who they are or what they're doing. I mean, even at the end of the movie, you don't know who they are or what they're doing. They're just there for a villain, and so that's what happened. That's what's with those guys,
Okay. There was a statement at the very end of the movie that made to us, was really ridiculous.
Ridiculous
Statement. Can you?
I believe it's been something like 1 in every 12 EVP is hostile.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Bullshit.
Okay.
I mean, that's.
Okay.
I mean, who said that? I want to know.
Right.
Well,
with that, now, with the ending being very controversial, I guess, if you want to call it that, I got to ask, what the fuck was with that ending?
I don't even think the writer knew what was going on in that movie.
Time to end the movie.
Time to end it, yeah. At the end of I don't really want to ruin the end of the movie for you, but I'm gonna, because you shouldn't see it anyway. At the end of the movie, he gets a message from his wife that says, or he thinks to go to this warehouse where the supposed murderer of his wife is, and the dark shadow people are there waiting for him, and they kick his ass and kill him, and that's the end of the movie, and it makes absolutely no sense.
Okay. Well, being who you are as the mustard man, how many squirts would you give this?
I would give it 1 squirt. Thank you, Dave. And I would give it 1 squirt, and just go see it if you're interested in paranormal investigation, just to get it out of your system, and you know what not to do and what isn't true. So with Hollywood, so
Okay,
go
great.
see it.
Well, thanks,
Don't like
Troy.
it.
I appreciate your input.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here again.
See you next time.
All right.
Hey, Dave, remember that interview with Ed Gein that I said I got earlier?
Yeah, I wondered when we're going to listen to
Yeah,
that.
I've got it right here. Let's play it.
Okay, let's pop that in and see what he says.
Okay.
Okay.
Go. Is there anyone here?
Yeah.
Hello? Who is that? Is there someone here? What is your name?
Ed.
Ed. What is your full name?
Ed Gein.
Ed Gein?
Yes.
I got it, guy.
Well, who the hell did you think it was, bitch? You're in my house.
That's right. Oh my God, can I do an interview with you? Can I ask you
Why
some
not?
questions? I really would love to ask you some questions.
Sure. Go ahead. Somebody who could make such a nice nipple vest as you. Go ahead.
Okay. Thanks. First of all, I gotta ask you, what is hell like? You are in hell, correct?
Well, duh. Of course I'm in hell. I used to carve people up for their body parts to make a frickin' drape out of. What the hell do you think I'm doing?
Okay.
I'm not sitting up here trying to con my way into heaven like Johnny Cochran is. It's hot down here.
Okay. So, tell me about hell. Tell me, what do you do in there? Who do you see? What do you do?
Well, the good news is I have a lot of friends down here. A lot of people that have similar interests that I do.
I'm sure.
Yeah, just the other day, Jeffrey Dahmer and I were talking about the best way to cook a skull, and I didn't agree with him, and he called me a nasty name, and I just looked at him and said, "Eat me." And believe me, I quickly realized that was the wrong thing to say to that sick dude.
Really? Why? What happened?
He literally tried to eat me.
Oh my God.
Faggot.
What happened?
Chased me around and tried to take a freaking bite out of my ass.
God, I'm sorry to
And
hear
he
that.
thinks I'm sick. Jesus, at least I'd wait until they're dead.
Yeah.
Crazy bastard.
I have to say, Ed, when you were alive, I don't think you sounded this deep. You don't have such a deep voice. Why is it that you have such a deep voice? You almost sound demonish.
Well, I'm in hell, bitch. What do you think? We're all demons.
Good answer, I suppose.
You damn right it is.
Okay. Can I ask you another question?
Maybe. Are you gonna allow me to decorate my new pad with your cooter?
Wow. I don't know what, I kind of need it.
What do you need that for?
Believe me, I need it.
I'll take your word for that.
Okay. Let me ask you another question. When you were alive, you had a real eye for decorating. Can you, elaborate on your decorating ideas?
Well, it was quite interesting. I really enjoyed making lampshades and throw rugs out of cadavers. Very, very sexy. All I can say is I could have a lesbian over to my house and she could do some real carpet munching.
Oh my God. Did you have many lesbians at your house?
They were dead by the time they got there, so I really didn't know.
Okay. How do you feel about lesbians?
Nothing wrong with a good carpet muncher.
Okay.
You are what you eat, and then I turn you into one.
Okay. Interesting. All right. I gotta ask you a question. When you were alive, what did you do for a living?
I really had three main jobs. I was a butcher, a baker, and a nipple belt maker. Yeah, baby, love it.
That's very interesting. I'm so happy that I had this chance and this opportunity to talk to you today. Please, if anybody else tries to contact you or talks to you, please let them know. Let them know you're around. Okay?
I definitely will, and I just want to let you know that I see a lot of very nice-looking young ladies walking around these days with a butt hat, and they think it's a tattoo. Well, if you ever run into old Eddie, he'll show you what a real butt hat is.
Wow. I don't even know if I want to know about that one.
Well, you better get out of here, or you're going to find out.
Okay, I'm gone.
You in the vulva vest.
Okay, thank you, Eddie. I appreciate your time that you
Oh,
spent.
You're welcome, my little nipple vest supplier.
Okay. Well, thanks for the interview.
No problem, baby.
And we're back, and we're going to jump into our next segment here, which is going to be our website review and recommendation. And this week we review the site, the Shadowlands, and you get there by going to theshadowlands.net. Once you get there, you're going to have a bunch of different choices as far as ghosts and hauntings, which, of course, is my personal favorite, and
of course.
Yours too, I'm sure. They also have sections on UFO, cryptozoology, weird human cases, spontaneous human combustion, and a variety of other things on that website. But once you make your way to the ghosts and hauntings, it's really quite informative. On the main page, they have a whole bunch of different articles on what are ghosts, the different type of ghosts, what's an orb, what's not an orb, how to do EVP, Ghost Hunting 101. So they do give you a really, really nice overview of pretty much everything you'd want to know if you're going to go into ghost hunting or paranormal investigation. One of the other things I really enjoy is going to the Haunted Places site. It's an index that covers sites all over the world. And you can go to your particular state and pull it up and take a look in any town you're interested in and see if there's any hauntings there. So,
Well, that sounds cool.
yeah, it's pretty good, and I'd recommend you check it out. They even have a chat board. You can have some chat and exchange messages with other people who are interested in the same thing.
Oh, great. I definitely plan on looking that up.
Sounds good. So there you go. There's your website recommendation review for the week. Check it out and let us know what you think. Thanks. Bye.
I'd like to welcome everybody to a new section on Ghost Gab. This is called Rob Grants. I am, of course, your host, Rob, and I'll be the one ranting to you for the next little while. Now, just so everybody knows, the greatest thing about being on the internet right now is I can say whatever the fuck I want to. You know why? Because the FCC can't stop me. Now, don't get me wrong, was swearing part of this? Well, yeah, the fuck it is, because I do it constantly. I don't really mean to, but I do. If I offend anybody with this, well, too fucking bad, I guess, because, I can say whatever the hell I want on here. Now, people might get offended by this, but you know what? Look on the internet by some of the offensive shit out there. A guy swearing on some little internet radio talk show ain't going to compare to some bestiality website or some, S&M bondage, with midgets and whipped cream websites. So, if you really want to bitch about them, not me, okay? All right, just don't let your kids listen to this show. But if your kids want to, fuck, let them listen. I don't give a shit. I'm friendly with children, I guess. Now, the interesting thing about my show is that I get to bitch, rant, and rave, piss and moan, I guess you could say, about ghosts and hauntings and the paranormal and everything related to it. So I guess the best thing to do is jump right in the deep end and start bitching about something, right? Well, one of the first things I like to bitch about is ghosts in general. Now, I've been hunting ghosts, investigating the paranormal, researching phenomenon for over 14 years now. And I can tell you this much, I've come across my own version of twisted ass shit out there. Now, as everybody out there knows that does this for a passion, a living, a hobby, a pastime, whatever you might call it, you run into these things too. You run into these people you have to deal with. One of my first rants is private investigations. One of our bread and butters that we do, but unfortunately, you do run into the ones that are basically total crap. Now, you can't never tell a client, well, listen, Mr. or Ma'am Smith, your house ain't really haunted. You guys are just too fucking nuttier and fruitcakes to, understand what's going on. Now, with that, you do run into a lot of cases where there's actual phenomena. The people are just goofy. Or the stories are goofy and the people are normal. You take it either way you want to. Now, with all of these, though, is everybody out there pretty much knows no matter what kind of fucked up ass story they tell you or what kind of weird ass twisted history you get, if there is a determination that there can be a haunting there, you got to check it out because in all theory, the one case you don't go on because it's so fucking twisted and bizarre is the one where you probably would have gotten the most activity. We all know that one's true. I know everybody out there listening to this before you've gone to the ends of the fucking country, the world, the universe if you really want to. For some of those people who are into, You know, that space kind of weird phenomenon bullshit, but they're out there. But you do have to deal with these, and you have to go and investigate, and you got to do it professional. But, you know, the question always comes up, well, what do you do when something unprofessional happens? Well, a perfect example is I was on a case once where we investigated a person's house. This was years ago. I'm not going to tell anybody's names where they're from, but they were from a rural community on the East Coast. And we got there and basically was no exaggeration, it was a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old, I believe, that was married to his 27-year-old cousin. Yes, that's right, folks, you heard. A 15-year-old and a 27-year-old. They were cousins, they were married. Yes, I know everybody likes to say this was in the South. No, this was actually a little bit to the East. So, you know, Well, we get there, and basically was a case where a father died of cancer in a bedroom, and they had this phenomenon that was going on all throughout the house. So we go and check it out, of course. The team I was with at the time, we go out there, we're as professional as can be. We pull up, and all of a sudden, there stands one of the owners of the house, this small man, 15-year-old, mind you, standing outside the front of this, what looked to be an abandoned house. Nope, they really lived there. Okay, go in the house. Everything kind of looks normal. We sit down to do the interview in the living room, and behind me, as you can't see because I'm pointing, there was a large screen television. Now, at the time we walked in the house, and all during the interview, there was a large screen TV playing pornography. I think it was like Devil and Miss Jones 3, I think, but I really didn't get a real good look at it. I could hear it right behind me, and I saw it, but I'm not going to turn around and watch because it's kind of unprofessional. Plus, I've already seen it, so it really doesn't matter. Now, I don't know about you, but, you know, I'm handling myself, I thought, pretty damn well at the time. Well, unfortunately, the one homeowner, the male, the 15-year-old, decides to sit on the lap of the female, his wife. They begin to have, let's just say physical exchanges in front of us. Now, we're not talking hardcore sex, everybody. Get that out of your dirty ass little minds. But we had to sit there and deal with this shit. Okay. Now, the other thing about the house is that, number one, was the house haunted? My opinion right now, as I sit back and look at it, fuck no, not a damn bit. Now, see, everything that they came up with, they had footsteps in the attic. Well, they had all kinds of little critters up there. They had everything from squirrels to a possum to birds to some hairy fucking thing that I saw, but I don't know what the hell it was. Could have been a fucking wombat for all I know. But unfortunately, we're going through with the investigation. You know, the next room that we get to see, they tell us about the phenomenon that's going in the bathroom. The bathroom consists of a drain on the floor with a bucket over it, and that ain't no fucking exaggeration. One of my team members I work with now was there in this one, and she could vouch for me. And I ain't bullshitting you guys on this, but it was. So, we're supposed to spend, I think an entire night. There was like an 8-hour planned investigation. We spent a total of like 2 hours here because we had to get the fuck out of there because, A, we were laughing too hard, number one. Number two, there was not a goddamn thing going on. We had a long drive home. Now, that doesn't mean that, that's every investigation. That's just a little snippet. There's going to be more to come on that one. That will be an ongoing saga with me, but I'll just continue on something else now. See, I like to jump around from subject to subject. Now, the other weird thing out there is the ghost hunters themselves. Have you met some of them? I have. And, there are some real winners out there in our field. There are people out there that are so goddamn professional. I mean, just the studs of the world in the paranormal, the supernatural, whatever you like to call it, investigators. I know a lot of them personally. Great fucking people to be around. You meet these other crackheads that want to investigate ghosts, and pretty much all the time it's, I heard of the story about, one of the famous places around me is Bachelors Grove Cemetery. Everybody knows Bachelors Grove. It's the most haunted, reputed cemetery in the world. It's on the top 10 list, all this kind of bullshit. Okay, now I spent the night in Bachelors Grove many times, legally and illegally. And to be honest with you, the phenomenon I've ever captured there is very minimal. I've never seen the Phantom Farmhouse, the three-headed fucking monster from the lagoon, the Phantom Horse and the Plow, the Green Man, the Blue Man, the White Man, the Devil Dogs that chase you in and out, the Druids, the Satanists, the Pagans. Oh, that's another whole thing. So everybody knows out there, every time you hear of a cemetery investigation, I guarantee you're going to hear a few things out there. A, it's in the middle of nowhere. Well, it's got to be somewhere if it's there. Now, the other thing you hear about is, it's been vandalized. And a lot of rural cemeteries do get vandalized, especially out in the middle of the fucking boondocks. Now, besides being that, you almost always hear the story of druids, pagans, Satanists, witches, warlocks, vampires, every other kind of sect and sort that hangs out there and does these bizarre, sadistic rituals to farm animals and small babies and virgins and everything fucking else their son. Okay. Clearly on that one. That's all pretty much fucking crap. I mean fucking crap. I know people that are witches, I know people that are pagans, and I know people that are Satanists, and they're all pretty much just, and there's my fucking telephone ringing. Great for my show. But they're pretty much normal people like everybody else. They just want to be left alone, and they're not on all this fucking bloodline, all this gothic bullshit that's going on nowadays. Because, you know, just because you shop at Hot Topic does not make you a fucking vampire or a warlock. And just because you read some $10 copy of the Book of Shadows from fucking Crown Books doesn't make you a witch. But, you know, they out there want to believe. They want to buy their little fucking occult altars and their dragon's foot and, you know, Aya Newt and all this other shit. Okay, let them. Well, I'm getting off my subject a little bit, but, you know, I'm going to take a short break for a second, have a cigarette, have a drink real quick, and I will get back to you guys in a couple of minutes. So stay tuned and hold on.
Well, that wraps it up for the second episode of Ghost Gab, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Jen?
Oh, yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, we had some really good stuff. I enjoyed the interview with Cindy, and Troy's movie review was entertaining as always.
As always, yes.
And I really have to say I'm impressed by the EVP session you had with Ed Gein.
Yes, he was quite impressive, wasn't he?
Oh, he's a piece of work, and I do see, looking from over here, that you did come back with everything that you went there with, which we're all glad to see that. As far as what's coming up in our next show, which would be our third episode of Ghost Gab, we're going to look at famous haunted hotspots.
Ooh, sounds good.
A couple ones that you've been to, Winchester House and Alcatraz. Have you been there?
Yep.
Okay, that'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on that, if it's really haunted or not. I think we'll also look at the Valeska Axe Murder House.
Oh, good. Very controversial there.
Yeah, the group had been there as well. Many other groups have gone there, and they also have a whole bunch of stuff posted on the Valeska Axe Murder House website, so that'll be an interesting one. I think they were also on Proof Positive.
Yes, they were.
And that was actually one of the ones that was proof negative, one of the very few that didn't even give it the inconclusive. So we'll review that. And
Mansfield State Reformatory. We're going to be doing a review about that, but our group, if you don't know already, is planning an outing for anyone who wants to go down to Ohio for an overnight investigation. Just a fun ghost hunt. So,
do we still have room for people?
We have room for people who would like to meet us there. Unfortunately, our buses are filled up. But if you want to meet us there and drive yourself, we still got room for you. We can let you in.
Okay, sounds good. And they can find that through our website.
Yep.
The other spots that we're going to talk about is probably Bachelors Grove, and they give a quick review of the Queen Mary. I also think there's a conference going out there in September on the Queen Mary itself, so that'll be very interesting. So if you want to get a hold of the group and you want to leave comments about the show, you can feel free to contact us at
www.paranormalresearchgroup.com. You can email us at paranormalresearchgroup@yahoo.com, or you can call us at area code 608-931-3633.
Great, and we always like to hear from you as far as any ideas you have, questions, comments, and potential show topics. We'll be more than willing to entertain your thoughts. And until next time, Jen, have a spooky night.
Sure.